was the last outing that I went to before all this happened. RIP to public settings. Hey y'all, what's good? Welcome back to my canal. So today's video is actually going to be a story time video. I know it's very different from everything else I have on this channel, but I love watching story times. I actually kind of like the dark side of storytelling. I like kind of like creepypasta, urban legends, but like true crime, murder mysteries, kind of like stuff like that. Kind of dark stuff, but I also love watching people that tell stories of what they've been through in life. So I kind of wanted to dip my toes into storytelling, so maybe, you know, this will go somewhere because I have a lot of crazy things that have happened in my life. I can share a lot of crazy stories, but if you want to hear more, please comment those down below and I'll definitely get into it. Before we get started with today's story time, I'm gonna go ahead and pick the winner. If you watched my last video, then you already know what's up. So let me go ahead and pick a winner. I put your name on a piece of paper inside of this nice mixing bowl just because I wanted it to be fair and random whoever wins. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and pick a winner. And the winner is Darlene Madrigal. So I just realized that I said your name horribly wrong. For some reason, oh my god, for some reason I said your name in a very white accent. But it's Darlene Madrigal. I am so sorry, girl, but please email me. Ignore how I say it. Okay, let's go back to the video. I hope I said your name correctly, but you have won the giveaway. Please email me. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it up here and also link down below. Thank you for everyone that participated and everyone that wrote so many nice comments down below. And don't get discouraged if you didn't win. I've never won a giveaway in my life, so I know how it feels. But I'll definitely be doing more in the future, so stay tuned for that. And without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get this video started. Okay, so this story takes place when I was a freshman and I met this guy. He was a junior and we're just gonna give him a random name called Mateo. We'll call him Mateo. So he was a junior and I was a freshman. And just to kind of give you an idea on how his mind worked, I remember one day after school he was like, hey, let me give you a ride home, because I used to take the bus, but he was like, just skip taking the bus and I'll take you home. I was like, okay, why not? So he could park his car at the school, but you needed a school pass, like a sticker, and you have to pay for that, and I guess he doesn't pay for it. So he was like, well, I parked my car down the street at the park, which the park wasn't really that far away. It was literally a 5-minute walk from the school. I was like, yeah, sure. So we both started walking together towards his car, and mid of us walking, from the distance we see like a bunch of people fighting. Like, it was a full-on rumble. Now, if you don't know what a rumble is, it's basically when just a bunch of random dudes are just like fighting. Like, I've never seen girls do this, but it was literally 20 guys just hitting each other in their face for no reason. It was pretty normal in my high school and my middle school to be fights like every single day, but not like a full-on rumble where there's like random people just fighting random people. Like, I've never seen that in my life before. It was like literally a cartoon. It was like dudes just like doing this, and it was like dust coming out. I don't know, it was like insane. So just to show you how this kid's mind worked, he got hyped and started running towards the fight and started just hitting a random dude. I'm just standing there like, what the fuck is going on? The outside rim of the fight and rumble going on, it was like the girlfriends, and a couple of feet away from me I see this chick, right? And so she's standing there and she's like, no, don't hit my boyfriend, no, not my boyfriend. And she starts running up into the fight, and I mean, she was trying to defend her man, because I get it. It was basically one dude holding her man and then the other dude punching him. So I mean, he needed it out, but it's kind of dangerous to just hop up in there. And she did. She ran in there and she got hit. Some dude hit her, and I was like, yeah, no, I ain't about this life. I'm gonna go ahead and dip out, call my mom, say, hey mom, I'm so sorry, can you come pick me up from school? So I start walking back to school and I hear someone like running up behind me, and he was like, where are you going? Like breathing heavy, like he just had a full-on marathon. He's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going back to school because I'm gonna call my mom so she can come pick me up because I ain't about that life. And then he was like, no, 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 it's okay. Like, I can drive you home, no big deal. I was like, well, you seem a little bit occupied. You know, I was being stubborn, and he was like, no, 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 just stay here. I'll go get my car. Well, he ends up getting his car. He drives next to me. He's like, just come in the car and I'll take you home. And I was like, okay, fine. Dumbass. So I hop in the car and he takes me home. So yeah, so now you have an idea of how this guy's mind worked at that time. He was a freaking psycho. He loved to fight. He like it was just an issue. Like he loved to be in issues at school. And I think senior year he ended up getting kicked out. I'm not too sure what happened. But yeah, so that's kind of how he worked. Now kind of fast forwarding, this is the time that I was already his girlfriend, and I was going to my friend's house. Now these friends, we were very close my 8th grade and 9th grade year, and we kind of just fell off after that. But we were very, very close, and I was with them almost every weekend. We weren't in the same high schools, we just kind of hung out every weekend. But these girls, we're just gonna call them Mary, June, and I already said Mary. We'll call her April. So Mary, June, and April. So two of them were. So my camera overheated. So I was explaining the girls. So it was Mary, June, and April. Mary, June, and April. So Mary and June were twins, but they didn't look alike. I don't know. I know what it is, but I don't. I forgot the actual term, what it's called. When the twins don't look alike, that's what was happening. They didn't look alike, and then they had a younger sister. So like I said, me and them used to hang out a lot during middle school and my freshman and a little bit of my sophomore year. So just to kind of explain how they were, Mary was way more free-spirited, didn't care, while June was just like not having it. I remember one time we went to the gas station to get some snacks and, you know, poison ourselves more with Cokes and chips and stuff. Like honestly, looking back, I cannot believe how much Coke and chips I used to drink. Like it was crazy. Being a teen, it was insane. Like how did I even survive? So on one of these walks, I remember we got our snacks or whatever, and we're gonna walk back home to the girls' house. And this guy, who was like a neighborhood guy, he was a little bit older than us. He was hitting on my girl Mary. Now Mary was kind of like already a little bit developed, you know, she had some big kahunas on her, so she definitely attracted the older guys in the neighborhood. And he was like, hey, do you and your girls want to get in the car and I'll drive y'all home? And Mary's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, girl, whatever. And her sister was just like, no, just straight no. And she's like, I'm not getting in the car, I'm gonna walk by myself home. So Mary's like, well, I can't leave you by yourself because then mom's gonna ask what happened. And it was just like a whole thing. It's not that they didn't get along, but definitely June was a party pooper while Mary just like was free-spirited and literally danced to her own beat. So now that you have an idea of how the girls were, I used to hang out with Mary way more. And now fast forwarding again to this particular day. So I meet Mary at their house and I tell Mary I'm gonna go meet my boyfriend, will you come with me at the park? And she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And the park was literally like a step away from their house. Like it was really, really close. And so we go at the park and we meet up with him. Now this park is like an elementary school. I have to like kind of explain how it is, or I mean put a picture because it's kind of confusing. So it's an elementary school, right? And then this side is like the preschool slash park area for the preschool kids. And then this side is kind of the older grade school kids and a public park. So we're on the pre-K side with the little swing set slash like the playground. We're on the swing sets just kind of chilling and talking, and my boyfriend at the time, Mateo, he was just like driving around. And also how it's designed is kind of weird because it's like the elementary school and park, an alleyway, and then straight houses on, I don't know, let me just insert a picture and I think that'll be easier to understand. He was doing whatever guys do in their car, like doing donuts and acting crazy, right? So that's what he's doing. As he's doing that, me and her just chatting it up, and out of nowhere we hear this kid yell, you almost hit me. And me and her like, and he's like, this kid, he was like 10 or 12 years old. First of all, what you doing out by yourself in these streets? Like, doesn't your mama need you, homeboy? We heard this and we're just like, who was that? And then we see like a tiny little human, like, you almost hit me. I'm gonna call my brother or my cousin or something like that. And he runs off, right? And we're like, well, he ain't dead, so I guess everything's fine. Yeah, at the time we're just like, whatever, like, he's fine, like, nothing happened to him. Okay, so I'm back because my battery ended up dying after it got overheated. I don't know what's going on. I'm having technical issues. So this little boy yells at us that he's gonna go get somebody, and we think nothing of it, right? Because he's just a little boy. So my boyfriend stops acting all crazy and he parks his car horizontally towards us. And he gets off the car and we all start talking, me, Mary, and my boyfriend Mateo. And not even minutes later, this truck, like Tahoe truck, pulls up and they're there to defend this little boy. And a couple of seconds later, another truck pulls up and it's another bunch of dudes, and another little car pulls up and then that's another bunch of dudes. And let me explain what's going on. So apparently, whoever this little boy knows, his brother, his cousin's like affiliated with some type of gang. Now this gang is not supposed to be in this area because this area belongs to this gang, and I'm just gonna kind of give them colors that are not gang bang colors. So the area that we're in is primarily purple gang team, you know, and yellow team is not supposed to be there. So I don't know how word got around and how purple even knew that yellow was coming, but they knew and they were there to claim. I mean, obviously now it's kind of like funny, but at the moment it was kind of scary because most of them were between like 14 or like not 14, like I would say like 16, 17 to like 20 to 22 years old. So it was kind of like a bit older guys in there, which made it kind of scary and intimidating. Yellow team is pissed at my boyfriend because they almost hit his little cousin slash brother, and purple's mad because yellow's on their territory. So it was just kind of like weird, right? And I told Mateo, I was like, we should probably bounce because I ain't trying to be here for no issues. And he's like, nah, let's see what happens. And I'm like, okay. And me and Mary, we actually see someone from the purple team that we know. And the reason that we know him, and we're going to call him, we'll call him Reno. So me and Mary see Reno and Reno sees us, and we kind of start walking towards each other, and he's like, what y'all doing here? And I was like, well, that's my boyfriend over there. And I kind of gave him a rundown of what just happened. He was like, so we all here because your boyfriend wanted to act crazy. And I was like, yeah, basically. And he's like, all right, well, I suggest y'all leave, but that's up to y'all. Y'all can do whatever, you know, obviously. So me and Mary's like, okay. So we just go chill in the swing sets, and we're just like kind of like watching because there's like a little fence, but you can see right through it. We're watching what's happening, and all I remember is that three dudes from the yellow team come up to Mateo and they start like charging him up, and they're like, what's up, man? You wanted to fight? You wanted to, you know, what's up? And then my boyfriend's like, yeah, all right, I can brawl any of y'all, but like one-on-one, you know. They talk a little smack back and forth and nothing happens. So the three guys end up going back to the yellow squad. Yellow team, yellow gang, yellow squad. So the three guys end up going back to the yellow squad, and like they're just exchanging words or whatever. And purple was just like kind of standing there, like just watching, seeing what's gonna happen, you know. And after like a few minutes pass by, it ends up being like nothing ends up happening, and everyone just kind of starts packing up and leaving. And I remember the first like car that left was a little car that came with a purple team. They leave first, and I kind of give like a signal to everyone else to be like, all right, let's all pack and leave, you know. So we all were like kind of decided to just leave, and everyone starts getting into the cars and they start leaving. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. So as we all decided to leave, my friend gets into the back of the car sitting behind my boyfriend, and I come around the car to get into the passenger seat. Now as I'm walking around the car, someone from the yellow team screams out, hey, what's up with the girl in the front? Now, like I said, my boyfriend at the time loved to fight. So this was a perfect trigger for him. He heard that. He got out the car real quick and he's like, who are you trying to holler at? And he's like, my bad, bro. I didn't know that was your girl. You really? Okay. So my boyfriend's like, nah, man, you want to holler at my girl? Let's see what's up. And then so they start exchanging words, right? And the guys start getting hyped, the ones that are still there, and they kind of start doing a little circle because these guys are talking smack to each other. And Reno comes up to us. He's like, look, I suggest y'all leave before anything goes down, and you know, y'all shouldn't be here just in case there's like a shootout breaks out, or I don't know, some crazy shit. The cops can pull up. He's like, just go on home. So me and Mary decide to leave. So me and her kind of like start walkingly, joggingly fast away from the scene. And we get halfway to the park and we just hear like someone like running behind us, and literally it was Mateo, and he's like, where y'all going? Literally bleeding from his face, like super happy, and was like, where y'all going? And we're like, we're going back home. He was like, oh, okay. He's like, let me go get my car. I was like, wait, what just happened? I'm like, you're bleeding. I'm like, what just happened? And he was like, oh yeah, nah, I laid his ass out. And I'm like, okay. Super normal, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we'll just meet you at the end of the party. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go get my car, and then I'll pick y'all up, and then I'll take y'all home. And yeah, he picked us up, and I'm pretty sure we went to go get something to eat and acted like regular people. I'm over here like, no, everything's fine. It's dangerous out there in the streets. Don't be going out in the streets, girl. Stay home, especially at this time. But yeah, that was a time that I was involved in a gang stare down, and my boyfriend ended up fighting somebody because they were trying to talk to me or holler at me from afar. So crazy. But yeah, if you enjoyed this story time, go ahead and comment it down below. Let me know if you want to hear other crazy stories in my life. I actually have a lot. I just wanted to start with this one just because it wasn't like crazy or heavy. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe to my canal. Thank you so much for being here and watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, y'all.